Welcome back to Work, Life and Conspiracies, the podcast where normal bumps into the unexplainable, where Monday morning meetings, geopolitical headlines and theological prophecies all sit at the same table. I'm your host, Michael Deegan, and today I want to talk about something that frankly I've hesitated to bring up before, because it's heavy, it's controversial, and it might change the way you see the world around you, but I think we need to talk about it. Here's the question. Are we living in what the Bible calls Satan's little season? That short, intense period mentioned in Revelations. The one where evil is released, not hidden, not restrained, but let loose. If that sounds dramatic, it's because it is. But as you'll see, this isn't wild speculation. It's a sober, biblical, historical, and contemporary question that demands attention. So grab a coffee, take a breath, and let's go deep. Let's start with the bigger picture. The Christian story doesn't end in collapse. It ends in consumption, wholeness, justice, restoration. The Lamb reigns, the city descends, there's joy, there's peace, there's no more tears, no more night. That's the vision. But just before that vision becomes reality, there's a storm. And the book of Revelation doesn't skip over it, it names it. A little season. A short but devastating chapter where Satan is released to deceive the nations, to gather them for battle, to encircle the saints, to wage one final war. The Greek calls it a mikron chronon, a small season, but also a climatic one, not long but loud, not eternal but utterly exposing. God in his sovereignty allows evil to unmask itself, not to lose control but to make judgment just. And so here's where the question gets personal. What if that season is now? Not a future dystopia, not some far-off tribulation, but right now, in the era of misinformation, surveillance, persecution, and confusion. Could it be that we're not waiting for Satan's little season, we're living in it? Let's see what Scripture, history, and the world around us have to say. Let's turn to the text, Revelations 20:10. This passage is structured like a 5-act play. Satan is bound for 1,000 years. The saints reign with Christ. Satan is released briefly for that little season. He deceives the nations, symbolized as Gog and Magog, and surrounds God's people. And finally, fire falls, judgment comes, evil ends. Now, 1,000 years, let's be clear, is widely debated. Some read it literally, others symbolically. But almost all Christian traditions agree on this, that there's a final phase where evil surges before it collapses. That final surge is not eternal, but it's intense, global, polarizing. It's the moment when deception becomes systemic. The nations, not just a few, not just Rome or Babylon, but the entire earth are caught in a lie, a grand delusion. And those lies don't just distract, they divide, they destroy. But even in that chaos, God's sovereignty isn't compromised. Satan is not set free by his own power, he's released temporarily for a purpose, and that purpose to expose, to test, to refine, and to end evil once and for all. Let's move from the Bible to church history, because we're not the first people to wrestle with this idea. In the early church, many believers, especially those suffering under Rome, believed in a literal 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth, followed by a rebellion. To them, Gog and Magog looked a lot like Caesar, or maybe a future empire. But as persecution came and went, perspectives shifted. Augustine changed everything. He said the millennium is now, that Christ already reigns spiritually, that Satan is restrained partially, and that the church age is the 1,000 years, which means the little season is the end of the church age. A brief, terrifying storm before the calm of eternity. Later on, during the Reformation, figures like Luther saw the corruption of the church itself as a sign of satanic deception. They weren't afraid to call the Pope the Antichrist. Others saw Islam or imperial powers as God-like figures. Fast forward to today, you have a mix, some literals, some symbolists. But many agree Revelation 20 is not just poetry, it's prophetic pattern. And when you see the pattern unfolding in the real world, you start to ask, is this that little season? So let's zoom out and look at the landscape of right now, because the question isn't just, does Revelation describe a little season? It's, does our world look like it? Let's look at 5 areas. First, global deception. Disinformation is no longer random, it's algorithmic. AI is generating false videos, rewriting news, creating fake memories. Governments are weaponizing this, censoring dissent, redefining truth. 2. The persecution of saints. 380 million Christians face serious persecution. North Korea, Afghanistan, Nigeria, India. These aren't isolated incidents, they're a global trend. Number 3. Moral confusion. Isaiah said, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." That's the air we breathe now. Everything is fluid. Identity, truth, even biology. 4. Geopolitical agitation. Wars everywhere. Alliances shifting. Rumours of nuclear conflict. The war order feels fragile, fraying. Gog and Magog. Maybe not literal, but eerily familiar. 5. Technological control. Facial recognition. Digital money. Programmable identity systems. These aren't sci-fi fantasies, they're live infrastructure. And here's the haunting part. All 5 of these align with Revelation 20. They don't prove it, but they should alert us, because never before has there been a global deception and global surveillance and global ideological confusion all at once. Now let me address some pushbacks. Objection 1. People have always thought the end was near. True, but they didn't have planetary AI, programmable currency, and worldwide digital control. We do. Objection 2. The little season happens after a literal millennium. Maybe, but remember, Augustine and many modern theologians see the millennium as now. The little season, right before Christ returns. Objection 3. This is symbolic. Symbols in Revelation always point to real-world manifestations. The beast was Rome, and more than Rome. The little season is both metaphor and moment. Objection 4. Tech is neutral. True, but governance isn't, and Revelation warns about systems that can be captured, turned against the faithful. So again, it's not about fear, it's about clarity. If we are in Satan's little season, even if we're just nearing it, what do we do? Here's where it gets practical. Teach truth. Root people in Scripture, not sentiment. In the world, not the algorithm. Stand with the persecuted. These are our brothers and sisters. Do not forget them. Witness boldly. No rage, no retreat, just unshakable faith, radical love, and courageous clarity. Engage tech with discernment. Push for transparency. Resist coercive control. Use tools. Don't let them use you. Hope fiercely, because even if the night is loud, the dawn is louder. So are we living in Satan's little season? I can't say for sure, but the patterns fit. The signs align, and the Spirit calls us to watch. If this is that moment, then the church's job is clear. Hold fast, stand firm, test everything, and above all, hope, because the story ends with a city, a throne, a wedding, not with fear, but with fire that purifies, and a king who comes quickly. Thank you for joining me on Work Life and Conspiracies. If this reason resonated with you, share it. Let's wake each other up. Until next time, stay rooted, stay ready, and stay undeciphered.